When you consider the word fraud, I believe the word of fraud is, I look at a dictionary. A fraud is something that deceives or trick. Oh, hold on, is that Oliver there? Now, I don't know about you, but one thing about the Invincible fandom is we have two sides. We got aura farming and frauds of the show. Now, as of recently right now, I believe the two biggest frauds in this show is Oliver and Tech Jacket. Now, before I even get more heated than I am, let's get right into this. Hello guys, I'm DDS here, and I'm here giving you more Invincible weekly content, and today we are going to be talking about how these two characters are on Fraud Watch. Now, a brief introduction of who these two people are if you don't already know. Oliver is half Fraction, half Viltrumite, who is introduced to us in the beginning of chapter 26 and 27. After Mark has been brought to the planet Fraxa, Mark and Nolan catch up with each other after the last time he did see him he was getting big to a pulp, and we find Oliver. It's a bit purple, but we'll let him go so far. He's a baby. We can't say anything about him right now. But we learn one thing about the Fraxons. We learn that the Fraxons have super memory. They remember everything from birth. And as they do remember everything, that is because of their quick mortality rate. They do age very quick. A day for us, for them, could be more than 10 years. And that's why they only live up to a few months. But because Oliver is now infused with Viltrumite DNA is a very strong gene in any crossbreeding of Viltrumites with anything else. Same with Mark is the same with how Oliver can now live for an extended period of time. We can see later in the comics how Oliver changes from a purple to a lighter pink to almost whitish skin color. Now, all the glazing for Oliver aside, we're gonna go right into putting this guy on Fraud Watch. Let's bring it to the first fight before I even get heated, bro. We see Mark struggling against Conquest in the fight, and he is already getting belt to ass from Conquest. Now, Oliver, being the kid he is, he's very naive and obviously does not know how to fight much, but does somehow have superpowers. Oliver has somewhat shown his capabilities to fight in a battle. He has not lost a fight technically yet, but he is not winning one anytime soon. And this is Oliver's first placement on Fraud Watch. Now, seeing the state that Invincible is now in, you would believe that you'd want to fight a bit tactically and not call out your literal positioning. You dumb lobster fuck! And you do that by screaming, "Big ass beat down, coming!" and get absolutely bounced on pavement. Do you know how bad that has to be for you to be bounced on pavement? That's already one tick off for Fraud Watch. Don't even get me started on this guy. Now, what has happened in the Conquest fight has now happened a bunch of times. This is not the only occurrence where Oliver goes headfirst into battle without thinking about the repercussions. And another instance of this I would like to bring is chapter 72 in Invincible. Now, we learned that after Omni-Man and Alan coming back to planet Earth, they recruit Tech Jacket. I will get onto him in a second. Oh, I have words for him / her. Don't even get me started on that, bye. Now, Oliver in this fight with Conquest and the rest of the Viltrumites felt more as him being a liability. At this point, I might as well call him Liability Man. He did not add any fight to this battle. He ran headfirst into Conquest and almost got red rushed again and caused Mark to have to fight to the near death on a nearby planet to defeat Conquest. Now, it is good enough that Mark was able to defeat Conquest in that scene because he's the main character. I don't think if he was, he probably would have lost that. But it's again a showing of Oliver's character. He thinks head first and he dies. You would think all that super memory he would be able to keep. A few memories of not diving in first into the same guy. This is not even a different person. This is the exact same guy you fought no longer than 10 chapters ago. And I know people use the excuse, he's just a kid, No, that does not work in this fight. Viltrumites do not care about kids. We saw the kids stomping each other out in the Great Purge. So I don't think that's going to be a good enough excuse for Oliver. That's Mark 2 on Fraud Watch. Now, the biggest instance of Fraud Watch right now is Oliver versus Frag. I don't even think I can even call it Oliver versus Frag. It's just Frag and maybe Oliver, featuring Oliver at this point. We learn and know that Frag is the strongest Viltrumite so far in the show and in the comics. In chapter 75, we see Oliver run headfirst to Frag after Invincible had punched Frag, and we saw his headline. His headline did not dent a millimeter. So Oliver, being the person he is, dives again head first. Now, the differences between all these other fights is Oliver had someone to help him back. In the first fight with Conquest, Invincible was able to throw him away and he did not suffer as great consequences for that. In the Viltrumite War, Invincible also had to handle him again and had to take out Conquest for the second time in that fight. The difference with this fight, there is no one that could hold Frag back currently in this fight so far. Not Nolan, no one. Not Alan, no one can hold him back. And because of that, he faces the brutal consequence of losing an arm and missing his jaw. And that, in my opinion, puts him on fraud watch. Now, when we talk about Oliver in general, I understand he is a child, technically, in the whole scheme of things, in the whole Viltrumite War. And I think because he is a child, I don't think he should be in the fight. He has added nothing to the fight. He has scored 0 buckets. This guy has not beat one guy at all in the entirety of his fight. I can only think of 3 people where he maybe beat. Barely. He held good on his own in the Invincible variants arc. I will give him that. He did do well against them. But except for that, there is no consistent fight where he doesn't go in head first and leaves with a broken limb. Now I'm gonna have to slander my goat for a second, but it's true. Tech Jacket, known as Zach or as Zoe, depending on if we look at the comics or in the TV show, we learned that Zach is a human. They're both humans, but Zach is older and male, of course, and Zoe is a bit young, on the younger side. So I see you creepy guys doing stuff with the enough. But they possess something called the Galdarian armor. Now this armor is from a different planet, obviously, and what the armor does is it enhances your base stats to the max depending on who is inside the suit. So any human wearing the suit has obviously superhuman capabilities. If someone like a Viltrumite was to wear the Galdarian armor, that would make them incredibly stronger. And what also makes this suit even better is the fact that it is self-healing. After a while, of course, but it can self-heal, which is an insane advantage. Now, we learn in chapter 71, after Nolan and Alan come to planet Earth, they find Tech Jacket and his dad on a satellite surrounding Earth. Now Alan recruits Tech Jacket to fight in the Viltrumite War, and after that, it starts going straight downhill. This guy, Tech Jacket, did worse than Oliver. The only one good thing this guy did was keep Alan alive at the end of the first part of the Viltrumite War by keeping him and Alan, or her, depending on how we do this, underneath the Viltrum ship. Now, I will give it to him, or I don't even know which one to say at this point. Both of them are fraud. I will give it to them for the fact that they were able to hold their own underneath the ship. But except for that, absolute garbage. Don't even get me started. How was Tech Jacket able to kill 2 invincible variants and 1 invisible variant in the show, but not able to fight against any of the Viltrumites at all? He got bitch slapped by Krieg in the comics and absolutely stomped on by a Turkish Viltrumite. How does that even work? And not a matter of fact of that, in the comics, he's even more of a fraud. He loses to Anissa with an inch of his life again and does no damage. I generally feel like these bullets that he is shooting at the Viltrumites feels like a tickle torture team. And the fact that it keeps getting worse and worse in the Viltrumite War. Before Nolan and Oliver and Mark hop into the fight on the planet of the Coalition of Planets, the main center, we see Tech Jacket struggling to fight the likes of Anissa, to the point where his exterior pressure is at 90% capacity of breaking. In the show, she rips off his armor. Well, she rips off her armor. Again, in this war, I believe if we removed both Tech Jacket and Oliver, how this Viltrumite War would go would be insanely more effective. Because there is a very important quote. The chain is only as strong as its weakest. And the 2 weakest links right now are Oliver and Tech Jacket. Now, I believe, obviously, they're a bit different. They're not Viltrumites. They're not going to be Viltrumites. But the thing that makes Tech Jacket a bit better than Oliver is the fact that Tech Jacket was able to use little purple virals that were able to weaken the Viltrumites that Alan used to punch through them. And that is the only good redeeming quality I can see Tech Jacket having compared to everyone else. Tech Jacket, in the show I'm watching and reading the comics, really showed me how much of a bum these 2 characters are. But except for that, I want you guys to let me know what you guys think about this. Do you really guys think that after all of this that they are still on fraud watch? If you don't, let me know in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. There is another video today with you guys for this week. Next week I might make a video on Frag, depending on how this video goes. But just like that, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment what you guys think. Just comment down below. I always respond to all my comments. And just like that, guys,